In our previous exercise, we discussed the necessity to test a program to ensure of its correctness, but also of its robustness. So we are going to illustrate further what we mean by robustness of a program by going back to the program as it is written and trying to make it more robust, that is, make it capable to handle more graciously input from users that is not in the expected range of value. So we are going to implement this feature by adding an output statement in the else part of the last conditional statement of our program. And this is going to mean pretty much, well, if none of the above choice triggered, if none of the above conditional did something, we are going to then display a message which is, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't understand what you type. You choose a number outside of the range 1 to 4, etc. Okay, so let's go to the code. Here we go. Let's see, we need to modify, this is what is told us by the exercise, we need to modify by adding an output statement, the else part of the last conditional. So there we go. And we're going to display some text. Please pick a choice between 1 and 4 only. This is it. We made a small modification to our program. Every time you do a small modification like that, you need to retest your program to make sure that you didn't introduce a bug. So this modification is easy enough. Let's try to test our program. How do we test our program? Well, let's write down a test harness again, real fast. We have values for A and B. Okay, let's use again 310. Then we need a value for the variable choice. 1, 2, 3, 4. You will see the exercise asks you also to test a negative value and a value out of range. Okay, what is our expected outcome? Expected outcome for 1, which is addition, would be, let me draw a line here, would be 310. For 2, which is actually the subtraction, this will be 290. Then we have division, then we have multiplication. And what do we expect in the other case? Well, we expect the program to display the error message that we just added. Okay, what is our observed outcome? Well, let's see. I'm going to let you do again by yourself cases 1 to 4 because it's useless for me to go over them again. We did that already a couple of times and I want you to practice this. However, I'm going to focus on testing the weird cases when the input is actually is incorrect pretty much. So let's go back to the code. I'm going to execute. Give me a value for A and B. So I'm following my test harness. Okay, A is going to be 300, B is going to be 10, and we start displaying here the menu on the screen step by step. Pick a choice between 1 and 4. My first weird case in the test harness is to pick -1. Okay, choice 1 is skipped, 2, 3, 4 is skipped. We go to the else of choice number 4 and we display please pick a choice between 1 and 4 only. Okay, I'm going to clear this output and I'm going to test again. Run. Value for A, this time my test harness, 300, and B is going to be 10. And when I come to the choice, inputting a value for choice, then I will pick something like 5. This is what my test harness tells me to do. Okay, first choice skipped, second, third. When we come to the choice number 4 conditional, we execute but please pick a choice between 1 and 4 only, etc. This appears on the screen. Everything seems to be working perfectly. Let's go back to the drawing board now. We have tested here, let me iconify this. We have tested here -1, -5, and the observed output is actually correct. I'm going to take one of those guys here that I left as an exercise. Let's pick, for example, this one. Choice is free. Let me go back to my code. And I'm going to slow down even more execution and execute. Give me a value for A. We keep the same value. We stick to the test harness. When you design the test harness, you make decision. When you test, you don't go and change your test harness with every test. That would lead to inconsistencies. Display on the console the item of our menu. Give me a value for choice. My test harness says I need to test now number 3. Okay, skip the first 2 choice. Number 3, put the result. Number 4, we go to the else. And this is a problem. Here's what we get as a final result. A divided by B equal 30. Well, this is a result of executing this piece of code here. What else? Let's go back to the output. Please pick a choice between 1 and 4 only. This is a result of executing this. If I try to draw the execution diagram, I pretty much executed, oops, let me fix this real quick and go back where we were. Okay, wherever I use the mouse for this. Okay, I moved by error, I dragged and dropped by error one of our conditionals. So I will need once again to rectify this. And there we go, that should be like closer to what we had. Okay, forget about this little zap of the inking pen. Okay, here's what we have here. We executed pretty much this execution path, thus displaying on the screen the result of an operation. My choice was 3. Then when we reach choice equal 4 conditional, well, choice is equal to 3, so it is not equal to 4, therefore we execute the else. What does this mean? Well, this means that if we go back to our test harness drawing board, this means that every time I'm going to use a value different than 4, I'm going to trigger not only the expected outcome, 300, but also an error message. 290, an error message. 30, an error message on the screen. When I choose 4, I will not trigger any additional error messages. Why? Well, when I choose choice equal 4, all of those conditional here, we are going to execute systematically the else part, okay, and I keep moving down like that. When I reach 3, I'm going to execute the else part as well, and when I reach 4, because choice is equal to 4, I'm going to execute the then part. So this is why I'm not going to get this extraneous error message here. So what is the lesson of this? The lesson of this is do not just assume anything with your test harness. I already told you that part of being capable to program is being capable to read code step by step without assuming anything. Well, part of understanding what makes a program correct is also the capability to define a test harness and to be able to test every single case when you change things. Even though this exercise was meant to make you believe that it was obvious to just add this else statement, and some of you I know caught it from the beginning, but some of you didn't, and it's normal, it's your first programming experience. This exercise was crafted to make you believe it was easy to just add an else to handle errors. Your first test would make you confident in this belief that yes, indeed, just adding this else display error message was sufficient. Only if you had the discipline and the rigor to test the other cases, you would find out that your program was not working. So it's an important thing to keep in mind when you move on to more complex exercise, and especially before you turn in an assignment, make sure that you are pretty sure that it's working.